Hey guys, so during his SNL monologue, Daniel Craig announced that No Time to Die would definitively be his final Bond film, and while it will be sad to see him go, it gives us so many new and exciting possibilities for the future of the franchise, and hopefully give us some new fresh energy to this series. So today I'll go through different categories of directions to take Bond, and who could look to cast in those certain roles. So before we start, please make sure to like, share, and of course subscribe to the Young Cynics. Your support would be so great to help this small channel grow. So there are multiple options for Bond, and it seems like right now every single person has their own preference as to what happens next with the character. Whether it's a continuation of Craig's Bond, a portrayal more in line with the first 5 actors, a younger person, a black guy, or even a woman. So because this channel is a place of peace, love, and acceptance, we'll go through something for all of these possibilities, as well as giving my take on all of them. So first is who could continue as Daniel Craig's Bond. This is probably the most likely situation, as the Craig films have been extremely popular and would only make sense to continue with the storylines. So we need someone who can give a strong yet reserved performance, as well as be intense, and here's a couple of names. Charlie Hunnam from Arthur Legend of the Sword, Pacific Rim, The Gentleman, and of course Sons of Anarchy. He's been quite good in most of the movies I've seen him in and could definitely bring that suave nature to the character. However, I feel that there's this certain charisma that he lacks. Sam Heughan from Bloodshot, Outlander, and he's already played a spy in The Spy Who Dumped Me. He definitely has a look to him and is a formidable presence, but the person I would choose would be James Norton. There's something about him to me that just screams Bond, as I could totally see him fall into the character. He has the look, the figure, loads of charm and charisma from the TV shows he's done, and I would love to see him be a continuation of Craig's character, or even a new Bond altogether. He has that similar quality of the other James Bond actors of being relatively unknown on a global scale before taking the role, but he would also fit in well with the next category, which is taking it back to the original. If the producers want to take film Bond back to his roots with a performance more akin to Connery, there are also a few options. Of course, I would love to see Norton in the role, but you could also go with someone like Richard Madden from Game of Thrones, and who was also in the spy series Bodyguard. It has been rumoured that he's been approached for the role and would be a solid pick. He's definitely got the look and the charm, and as we've seen in Bodyguard, can bring that physicality. A lot of people have been throwing around Henry Cavill's name, but I think right now he's just a bit too big for the character, both literally and figuratively. He's built like a Mack truck and people already know him as Superman, so I don't think that would go over too well. Dominic Cooper is probably a tad too old at this point. Michael Fassbender could also work, but much like Cavill, he's too well associated with the other characters at this point. My point here is that it's better when we look at these characters as the character rather than the actor. In other words, the actor should never be bigger than the character. Which is fine after it's been a few movies like with Daniel Craig right now, but you can't have a straight up massive actor playing the character. Same goes for Tom Hiddleston, who to me just doesn't quite have the look and intimidation to him, unfortunately. So I'd go with Richard Madden for a Bond who would suit the purists. One interesting idea is to go for a younger Bond who is at his youngest, in his late 20s. A pre-007 Bond like Craig's was, however a young and inexperienced agent who is still finding his footing. You can still use Richard Madden for this. However, another guy who could fit this, and hear me out, Harry Styles.
Okay, I'm waiting for the punchline.
Okay. Now, the guy doesn't have a lot of acting experience, of course. However, he was honestly great in Dunkirk. And look, if you give the guy a haircut, bulk him up a little bit, and give him a great director much like Christopher Nolan was, you could honestly get a strong and interesting take on the character. Another young actor could be John Boyega, who of course is charismatic as hell and could fit the character perfectly. Now, here's a trigger warning for any purist fans who feel that Bond should strictly be a white male, because now we enter the new territory of changing things up. Now, the problem of having a black James Bond can easily be summed up by Trevor Noah.
No matter how you feel about the issue, you have to admit, it would be particularly difficult to be a spy when you are the only black person in town.
However, the discussion has been changing, where more and more people would like to see Bond have a different look altogether. The obvious candidate is Idris Elba, who I would have loved, but unfortunately even he's acknowledged that window has passed. John Boyega, who I mentioned earlier, or Daniel Kaluuya, who has experience in the spy genre from your favourite and mine, Johnny English Reborn. Pierce Brosnan backed Colin Salmon a few years ago, but unfortunately his window has passed as well. Billie Eilish said Michael B. Jordan, but he has too much going on for Bond. However, I'd like to see David Oyelowo from Selma and Gringo as Bond. He has a commanding presence, which we saw as Martin Luther King in Selma. He has this incredible weight to his performances, and he has shown that he's more than ready to carry a film like this. And to the final category, a female James Bond. Now before I get to who, I'll address if. Should there be a female James Bond? No. Unfortunately, you can do female reboots about a lot of things and I won't have an issue. But I think for something like James Bond, it just wouldn't fit. I'd still see it regardless because I'll be loyal to the franchise and be interested to a new take, but I do think there would be a large group of fans who are not as forgiving and would boycott the film based on premise alone. However, in the minuscule chance they ever did do this, I would want Alicia Vikander because she's amazing, and she would be one of the first people I'd cast if I ever got the chance to direct a movie. If the franchise is going forward with Lashana Lynch, I'd be interested in that. She hasn't been in much, but I'm always open for something new. Of course, Ana de Armas is the other Bond who looks like she'll be kicking ass in No Time to Die, so that'll be interesting, but if this is going to happen, I'd be out the front of MGM with an Alicia Vikander shirt, poster, and socks. So that was my list of who could be the next Bond. If I had to pick one, I think I would probably have to go with James Norton, with Richard Madden a close second. But who would you like to see as the next Bond, and which route would you prefer they take the character? Please make sure you like and subscribe to The Young Cynics, and until next time, bye!